One of the most unusual artists we've ever come across is Sylvia Gardner, who specialises in three-dimensional fabric portraits, like this model of Prince Charles, which she brought to the studio 2 years ago. Well, some of the famous faces Sylvia has created in fabric are people like the Queen Mother, the Prime Minister, Viscount Montgomery, to name but a few. Well, now, Sylvia, by working out things from old tights and bits of foam rubber, has finally decided to turn her hand to a famous sporting face, Kevin Keegan, the 4th Division Scunthorpe player who's risen to the dizzy heights of Captain of England and European Footballer of the Year. Now, Sylvia is really a stickler for detail, and looking at this model of Kevin, I really think she surpassed herself with those familiar wavy locks, the friendly smile, and of course Kevin is in his all-England strip, and if you look closely, you'll see what I mean about detail. In his V-neck, you can even see there's a few hairs on his neck. Well, in addition to that, Sylvia's even managed to put on his big gold wedding ring there, looking very distinctive on his finger. And if we look down the model, you can even see the lump just there, the outline of his shin pads underneath his socks. And if I twist one of his pretty elegant feet round, you'll see he's even got studs on his football boots. Well, I think the model is an excellent likeness, and now it's your chance to see the model and compare it with the real Kevin Keegan in action. And here's the scorer of all those dazzling goals in the flesh, Kevin Keegan himself. Welcome to Blue Peter, Kevin.
Nice
Delighted to have you with us. Well, what do you think of your twin?
It's tremendous. You know, the hair, there's a few hairs here on the chin. It's almost life-size, because I am nearly that small.
Right.
And even right down to the boots, I think she's done a tremendous job with it.
I think so too. What about the legs?
I'm not too happy with the legs. I think she borrowed them from Phil Thompson at Liverpool. They're a little bit underweight, but apart from that, they're tremendous.
Oh, I'm glad you like it, because Sylvia would very much like you to have it as a present, so let me pass it over to you, Kevin. What do you think you'll do with it? Will you put it on the mantelpiece?
Well, I'd like to put it on the mantelpiece at home, because my little girl would probably keep pulling it down, and it'd make up for all the times we're away. But I don't think my wife would like to see two of us around the house.
When you were in Hamburg, you learnt the German language and you seemed very settled. I'm sure loads of people are dying to know why you gave that up and came back to Southampton.
Well, I enjoyed my 3 years in Germany very much. My wife spoke the language. She learnt it in school at O and A level, so that was a great bonus when we got out there. At least one of us knew what people were saying. I didn't have a clue. And the people were very good to us. The football suited my style of play, but I found the commitment just a little bit too much for me. You know, I could stand it for 2 years, possibly 3, but we trained just about 7 days a week, and I found very little time for my family. And of course, I got Laura Jane now, who's 2.5, and I want to enjoy her a little bit. You know, I mean, all work and no play, it doesn't work. I think you know, you've got to find a balance, and in England we got the right balance.
I was going to say, from the game point of view, you perhaps feel you've got a bit more freedom over here as well.
In some ways, yes. I mean, this season's been a bit of a disaster for injuries for me, which, you know, I've been lucky over my career of 14 years. I've hardly ever had an injury, and then suddenly, one after another, I've seemed to have got the full set. But, I mean, the game in Germany is completely different, because, I mean, my first season with Hamburg, I played 34 league games, 1 cup game. My last season with Liverpool, I played 72 competitive games, so it's a big difference.
Do you think that's a reason why supposedly continental players and South American players as well have supposedly more skill than British players, because they just don't play so much football, they train more?
I don't necessarily agree with the statement, they're more skillful. I think that they have more time to spend on this thing, and because of that they've got more confidence in their ability, because they practice it more. I mean, there's nothing worse than English football now, where players like myself, particularly this season, I've been just glad to get fit for each Saturday, you know, and then after that it's been sore and I've hardly trained. Whereas in Germany we did have full weeks where we could in fact do things that we were doing wrong on a Saturday. Now, I don't think the English managers and trainers have that sort of luxury. That, you know, they're really battling against all the odds. That's my own opinion, of course.
Well, do you think you could teach us novices a few skills?
I'd love to try, and you know, like, if you're any
I'll tell
good,
you one
Ron
thing,
Greenwood.
Kevin, my limbs have had a good oiling, particularly my kneecaps, because Goldie's been licking for the last 3 minutes, so
well,
I'm feeling
it's
quite
important
fit.
you warm up, right?
Right, well, I'm certainly warmed up.
Well,
what should we do first then?
Well, I thought we'd probably start with Eddie.
Oh, great.
I think
we've
we'll
got
remove
We need
you,
another
young
ball
lady.
for her.
One dog.
I think if we start with Edding, because most of the kids like to do that, if you could throw me a couple of balls, the important thing is to head the ball down if you can, so...
Oh, sorry, Kev. Hi there, Kev, sorry.
Oh, that's a bit low. Never mind, we're getting there. Just one
You have
more.
a go.
Come on, Simon, you must be better. Oh, that's good. And try and edit down if you can, almost at your feet. Yeah. Shall we try you with one?
All right.
Right. So aim for my feet if you can. Up. Good. Almost my feet. Simon. Oh, he's really got into it, Simon. He's going to make a centre forward, I think.
The thing is, can I just try again? Because I thought I didn't really get over it, you know?
Yeah, I think the secret is you've got to try and knock it down. You're more or less just happy to edit there. That's much better.
Try it with a few crosses, then.
Yes, pleasure.
I'll go in the goals.
Right.
Okay, Si, are you ready?
I shall come out and narrow the angle.
Peter Shilton.
This is...
I'll try and
I don't want to mention the word Chelsea, but...
Right.
I thought you might have to sometime.
Well, that's
No,
It's not, that's typical Chelsea finishing this season. Pick it up.
Oh, the post, off the
And they've had
post.
that bit of bad luck.
Third time lucky, Peter.
Great goal. Terrific. He's stuck in out of the goal. Quite a big one. I think one of the other things that we'd like to do, and Simon was particularly good when we trained this afternoon down at Wembley, was turning very quickly on the ball, you know? So maybe if you'd go in goals.
I'll go in goal, then.
If you could throw me one time, I'll try.
Now,
Kenny
presumably-
Dalglish does this particularly well. I think if I'd pick someone out of England, it'd have to be him.
Who's that?
Kenny Dalglish of Liverpool.
Right.
He plays for Liverpool, Simon.
Liverpool. Same. You throw it at my chest,
Yeah.
and the secret is to try and turn almost in one and hit it. So
Okay.
I don't know
Economy of movement, presumably.
that's
is the name
right.
of
You
the
don't
game.
get time to knock it down and then hit it. It's almost got to be done in one. So
Okay.
give me a good throw.
Where were you, Peter?
Right, just one more. Try one more.
I've got one other hand.
Maybe
it's
the
all
left
right.
side.
That's with a bad leg as well.
Maybe the left side this time. So it's a turn. So maybe you might go, Simon.
Yeah, I will go. While he's still on his back.
I'll get the ball. Right. So if you can, try and turn almost in one movement. Good.
It's there.
Nice finish.
Bit
Anyone-
slow though, wasn't it?
I think you just took
do I
too
have
long.
another
You know,
go?
it's almost in two movements. Can you try and turn and hit it on the turn? Much better. Much better.
So, you'll have a go. Peter.
I'll have a go.
Right. Almost in one if you can. That's the secret. Very good. On a great save, Peter Shilton. I mean, sorry. One more. Come a bit further out. Right.
Lucky.
What was it?
3 points to
Well, we
win.
won't get that one.
Sorry, camera 4.
I don't know if you could see that one, but the first one was much better because you turned almost in the same movement. And the second one, he knocked it down badly and you had to turn. In a game, you wouldn't get away
I
with
pushed
it.
it too far forward.
Yeah.
Should we do one more then? Should we do some...
I'd like to show you chipping because I
Yeah.
think it's important now. And in today's game, the goalkeepers now are getting so good, they're coming out 6-7 yards. And when a keeper stands further out of his goal, of course, he narrows all the angles. So if we could just try chipping him, which is...
All right. I'll get a couple more.
Right. If you come about 5 yards off your line, please,
Okay.
as if I'm going to shoot really hard. And
This is
then-
obviously much more subtle than blasting the ball.
Yeah, it's
Needs
something
quite a
you
lot
have
of
to practice
judgment.
it a lot. And of course, you've got the hard ground, which is
Yeah.
hard to get under. I'm just making excuses in case I don't chip it. So I'm going to hit it really hard, and then the last bit is just a flick. And great save.
Only got one camera left now.
Could you come a bit further out, make it a bit easier for me? Thank you. I go to hit it really hard, and then it's just a clip. You won't get that.
Oh,
he's
the
so
ball.
lucky.
Ready, Si? I'm going to
Right.
pretend to kick it hard, right?
No, you've got to...
You've got to get it hard.
Yeah, it's got to be
Really
almost...
difficult, I would think, on
It
a hard
is.
ground.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
You're doing very well in the circumstance.
That's
Great effort. Oh, so there's
have a
the
go.
last camera.
Time to have a go.
Yeah.
Chipping.
I'll go. No, go.
You go, you go.
This is like a kickabout, isn't it?
Actually, you must have a chance of chipping him because he's so small.
So it's really kind of just stubbing it.
It's almost on this floor, especially with it being hard. You've got to just stub it. That's a good effort. Good save, I think.
Yeah.
If you give yourself another yard, you might just...
I keep want me to come out a bit further.
Yeah, we were going to put the dummy in, but even that's taller than you.
Oh,
That's a
he's
good
done.
effort.
Well,
It's unlucky. It's not the easiest of things to do.
well, what's your verdict, Kevin? Do you think we've got potential?
Well, I'll tell Ron Greenwood, we won't... Don't call us, we'll call you, you know. But obviously, I think if the kids have learnt something and the things they can do in their own backyard, which is nice.
All right.
Kev,
Thank you
that's-
very much.
That's been terrific. I've really enjoyed that. I'm sure that's been great for all the kids as well. Let's go meet Sarah and
Yes,
the puppies. Sarah, someone to meet you.
Hello, Kevin. That looked amazing. Now, I've had a hard time stopping Goldie joining, I can tell you. Have you got any suggestions for names for puppies?
Well, there was one earlier I was talking to, or trying to talk to, and it barked with a Geordie accent, so I thought Laurie, and it was a dog, it wasn't a bitch. So I thought Laurie, after the manager at Southampton, Laurie
Brilliant
McMahon.
idea.
That's L-R-O-R-R-Y, is it?
L-A-U-R-E.
Oh, sorry.
That's right. That's right. Well, I'm sure that you've improved Simon and Peter's game no end in the coaching session. And one thing we must say is a big thank you for the donations that you've made for the appeal auction. Here are a pair of Kevin's very own boots. There. Here's...
Guaranteed to miss from 5 yards.
I wouldn't say that.
That's if you're wearing them.
This is Kevin's strip, England strip there, number 7 on the back. And that's going to be autographed by...
I'm going to take it back to headquarters now and get all the lads to sign it, so it'll be a nice present for somebody.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then how about this beautiful pennant for the Romania-England game? Look at that. That's lovely. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Kevin, do you have any dogs of your own?
Yeah, I feel quite at home in here because we've got 2 old English sheepdogs, a dog and a bitch, and we had 10 little things like this running around, and in fact 5 of them were born in the bedroom, so we had a lot of fun. And, you know, they're all in Germany now. We gave them to German footballers, so you have to get used to that, you know.
Right.
Right then, well,
terrific.
we'll be back on Thursday, won't we? And I shall be having a go at another kind of sport, but I'm going to get very wet this time. We're going to have a go at windsurfing.
And we'll be introducing all the puppies to Percy out in the garden.
I will also be introducing them to our guide dogs for the blind expert, Derek Freeman, and he'll be making his choice to see if they'll make good guide dogs puppies. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed, and we'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.